Welcome back to the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM Mile High Sports Radio. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside the freshly chugged shoey man himself, Mr. Josh Fremd. We're about to dive into the UFC Vegas 45 preview, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com. This is the final card of the year for the UFC, ladies and gentlemen. So it's the last chance to get your fix in 2021. It'll be off for a couple of weeks until they commence operations in 2022. But they are going to be going out with a bang, Josh Fremd. So in this main event, you have two heavyweights who show up to slug it out. It's a killer be killed matchup between the, if you will, ex-con and ex-prisoner versus the cop. You have
see what you did there.
Derrick Lewis taking on Chris Daukaus.
Hey, like you said, this last fight card's going to end with a bang, and, you know, what better way to do it with two heavyweights with a combined plus, 24 knockouts in their record? Like, probably way more than that. I'm missing.
Derrick Lewis is the knockout king. We've talked about it on this show many a times. The man has knockout king tattooed across his chest. He comes to bang, ladies and gentlemen.
And this card is back in Texas and Houston. So, I mean, this is going to be a great matchup. I personally am a little nervous for Derrick Lewis. He's coming into this fight at a plus 120 right now for the money line. And, you know, Daukaus is on a hot streak. Like, a bunch of those guys from Philly, they're out here, they're competing, and they're winning, and it's just a big wave of Philly guys out here now. It's going to be a great fight, Jordan. What do you got on it?
It is, Neil. But I would offer to you that it's a style that kind of plays in favor, I feel like, for someone like Derrick Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dalkas is going to be someone who wants to have more of a traditional boxing sort of approach at times, to where, you know, he's not threatening. He's not always looking to threaten a level change.
Mm-hmm.
Can he do it? Absolutely. But when he's had the success that he's had on the feet so far, I just don't see it being a situation where he does. And for someone like him who's potentially, you know, now, like, dare we say that Derrick Lewis is kind of in a gatekeeper role, or is that what this fight is in this position? You know, that's a fight that I feel like the UFC put Daukaus in there to see, like, okay, where's this guy really at?
Yeah.
Because we may have something in this kid. Maybe we don't. But we need to give him somebody who's a quality vet to see what he's capable of and where he truly is right now. Derrick Lewis coming off of a title fight loss. That's now two different title fights where he has been on the losing side. I don't know, man. I mean, if we see confidence in Derrick Lewis coming out there, I think that it's a good night for him. And Derrick Lewis, naturally, he has that ultimate equalizer to where he could be losing every bit but 1 second of that fight and just needs one punch.
It just takes one.
It's also something that's worth noting, though, Josh, that I think that we've seen Derrick Lewis at times kind of struggle when he gets bullied.
Yeah, and that's something that I am a little nervous with this fight, you know, because like we were just talking about with Garbrandt, like, this sport is so unforgiving, and 1 second you're up and you're living high like Derrick Lewis was, and then it could be a long skid, a quick skid, and Daukaus is on his rise right now. Is he going to come out there and try and bully him? Is he going to be nervous about, you know, getting caught, getting check hooked or anything? Like, I guess that's why you play the game, am I right? You know, you got to see what it is, and hopefully it's going to be, you know, not a snooze fest and not two guys who are kind of nervous to get into it. But, I mean, with Derrick Lewis, a plus 120 and always having that equalizer, I'm definitely probably leaning Derrick Lewis right now.
With it being that close of a line in that regard, and just knowing what the potential for Derrick Lewis can do, it's hard not to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the safe bet is gonna be, I'm gonna defy the odds and go with the over.
Defy the odds. Over 2.5 rounds?
I think I'm gonna go with the over, because I think that there's gonna be a lot of respect and filling out between them.
5-round fight?
Yeah, main event.
Main event. 5 round. Oh, my bad. Yeah.
So I think that at times, and I say this only because Derrick has shown the tendency to be reserved at times, or he'll wait to pull the trigger. He'll just kind of lull you there, and he'll wait for his opportunity. I like the over. I could be absolutely wrong. I don't love the pick.
When have we been known for being wrong?
when are we known for
When
being
have we
wrong?
ever picked the wrong fights?
Yeah, whenever. But moving along to the co-main event, this was one of the fights that was on our list of matchups that we were most looking forward to on the closing of 2021. We have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Bully B. Remember the name Belal Muhammad. This is a welterweight matchup between a couple of ranked guys. You have a similar situation in Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's kind of at the defending the post sort of situation against the rising Belal Muhammad. This isn't an easy fight for Belal, but it's he's such a grinder that it's not an easy matchup for Steven, but Steven's takedown defense has to be an advantage here.
Yeah. I mean, coming off that weird incident with Leon Edwards, where Belal was getting pieced up a little bit before the incident, and I mean, yeah, it's not an easy matchup. Personally, I think it's a little bit easier than Leon at this point in their career. Will Belal be able to bully? Will he be able to bully Steven up against the fence, try and take him down? Like you said, the takedown defense is impeccable for Wonderboy. So it's going to be interesting to see how Belal steps up to this type of, like we always say it when Wonderboy's fighting, that's just a style that's hard to deal with. What is his approach going to be?
And just as you mentioned right there, if Wonderboy is able to keep the range and to stay at distance, there's no way that he loses this fight, in my opinion. I just don't see the long range striking tools that Belal brings to the table as anything that can just, if it gets to a point fighting style, if it gets into a Wonderboy fight,
yeah, I
just don't see him losing this matchup.
I mean, sitting at right now, Stephen Thompson to win by knockout TKO on DraftKings is a plus 330. Because if he can't, because the only way,
but it might be a little bit too caliente for my liking. Just because Belal is tough. And
he's tough.
I don't want to discredit him in that way, and I don't know if he's gonna get. I don't know if he can be knocked out.
I'm not saying that I think for sure he can be knocked out. I'm just saying the only way that Wonderboy really wins this fight is, like you said, point fighting. And will he point fight well enough to catch him with something? The dexterity in his hips with his striking. It's a possibility. Or we could see Belal bully him, possibly take him down. I don't really know if you could finish Wonderboy. That I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I don't particularly see it going that direction. And selfishly or self-admittedly, I got to ride with Wonderboy. Wonderboy is just one of those guys that you can't help but want to see do good. This is a bet with my heart, not with my head. It could very well be the right pick, but I just like Wonderboy. It's hard not to like Wonderboy.
I completely agree with you. And all feelings, no facts, but I'm going to ride with remember the name Belal Muhammad. Like, the guy's just an entertaining fighter. He's a tough grinder. Just there's nothing bad you can say about the guy.
No, there's not. I want to see Wonderboy. I know it's a far-fetched concept at this point, but I want to see him be able to catch lightning in a bottle and go on another run, because I don't see anybody else really threatening the throne from Kamaru Usman. No. But that's just somebody who throws an interesting wrinkle in the mix stylistically that he hasn't already beat. So I don't know. That's just my 30,000-foot view and trying to be the master of puppets, putting stuff out there for it. But again, what do I know with that? We're gonna put the spotlight on a couple of fighters, or props and lines out there that we think are just worth keeping your eye on out there. Now, Josh, there's a couple of them that I want to talk about here. One of them being just one that, for the value of the fans and entertainment, you have two old school vets in Cub Swanson and Darren the Damage Elkins going at it with each other, and that's a fan's delight. That's a hardcore fan's just old school. I don't know if I can say what type of dream, but that's one of those type of fights.
I think this fight's gonna be the UFC's best tattoos versus the UFC's worst tattoos.
Pretty interesting dynamic between the two of them. Yeah.
Cub Swanson's always had the cool SoCal tattoo, Darren always had the damage, but he wears it well. But no, this is a very fun fight. This is a very fan-friendly fight. Two vets that are going to go out there and just scrap and always leave it on the line. Cubs always going out there looking smooth as ever. And, Darren Elkins, he's going to come out there. He's going to bleed a little bit. He's going to make it dirty. He's going to try and wear you down.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Then you have to take a look at another bantamweight. It seems like we've just had bantamweight matchup after bantamweight matchup of either contenders or vets, rising prospects, and the like. The one that I think it's a matchup that I don't know how it's flown under the radar this much so far to this point, but you've got to take a look at Ricky Simone and Rafael Assunção.
Oh, that's going to be a matchup, yeah.
And I think that you've got to go all in on Ricky Simone in this fight.
I think so too. I think he's definitely putting the puzzle pieces together as of late in his last couple of fights. I think it's going to be really entertaining.
And he's in this stylistic matchup. I think that he's a nightmare of a matchup for Assunção. I think that he's faster. I think that he's stronger, and his grit is just going to be too much. That wrestling, that bulldog pressure, he's just going to be in his face the entire time. And I like Ricky Simone in that matchup. And then of course, excuse me, we got to show a little love to Overkill and Angie Hill. You know, she's taken on a killer in Amanda Lemos, but a lot of people look at Lemos and say that she's the new boogie woman coming up through the division, but Angela Hill isn't afraid to fight anybody, and her striking is her expertise. Like, that's what she started as, was a Muay Thai fighter. So as game as she is, and with the cardio and the conditioning as she has, I'm interested in seeing it.
I think that's a good matchup for her. One matchup that I do want to point out here, Jordan, that is actually if you're a striking fan, I think this matchup is going to appeal to you. We got Andre Ewell versus Charles Jourdain. Air Jordan. This guy is so entertaining. His striking is unbelievable, super athletic, and Andre Ewell is just the same. He's very technical with his striking, very good boxing. Kickboxing's getting there, and I think this is going to be a really fun. It's kind of flying under the radar if I think about it.
Good matchup is there as well, and we do also have to give a shout out to the Colorado native on the card in Rocky, Raquel Pennington. She's going to be making the walk for her 15th UFC fight, squaring off against the rising prospect in Macy Chiasson. What did you think about our picks? What did we get right? What did we get wrong?
I threw my hands in the sky, bound to get closer to God.